Hello everyone, this is Vic, and that was the song Cry Freedom bringing us in, our theme song from Three Noodle Stew. My buddy Richard is not here with me, but with me tonight. He'll be here for the second half of the show. But welcome to Vic's Basement Brewcast, brought to you by South Jersey Beer Scene. As I said, Richard will be joining me in a little bit, but we're being filmed here by the awesome brothers Kashu, Johnny and Justin. Thank you guys for coming here and filming this. Now, what I'm going to start out, I'm going to tell a little story. There's a lot of iconic locations in the world. In the baseball world, you may have Yankee Stadium, you may have Wrigley Field, you have, the White House. You have all these iconic images, and an iconic place in the brew world is Slack Tide Brewing, because I guess about 5-6 years ago, Slack Tide Brewing was the birthplace of South Jersey Beer Scene. In a little corner of the room, Tom Renzulli, John Kashu got together and they said, let's do something about beer. And they did, so that was here at Slack Tide, and I am honored to be here with, I guess, the first official time you're on the Brewcast. I know we did something in Atlantic City.
But yes.
We're here at Slack Tide. I am here with owner and co-founder Jason Campbell. Jason.
How you doing?
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Good to have you. And here at lovely Slack Tide Brewing, we have a studio audience with us. Eh? We have a very energetic studio audience. We had some nice conversations before here. We talked about the Muppet Show. We talked about the love story of Camille and Gonzo before that with some very knowledgeable Muppet people. But we're here to talk about Slack Tide Brewing. So,
but if Muppet trivia is your thing, I got your people.
Okay. So stay tuned for Slack Tide's social media, etc., for their Muppet Trivia night that they will have down here at the Slack Tide Brewery. So, Jason, tell us about Slack Tide. When did you and Tag, I guess, decided to start the brewery? Tell us a story about it.
Sure. So my brother and I both had miserable day jobs, but we eventually decided in 2015 to endeavor on the never-ending journey of opening a brewery. So we'll be celebrating our 6-year anniversary here coming up in January. We started out here with a 27-gallon tippy dump homebrew system, which you're probably somewhat familiar with. Mm-hmm. That was the first 6 months that we were open. And then we quickly got our 3-barrel system online, and now we brew over 2,000 barrels of beer a year. We're actually in the midst of planning an expansion. We bought a property about 0.8 of a mile from here on Route 9. And we hope to be in that new building in 2023 and be about 3 times our current size. So we'll be able to do around 4,000 to 6,000 barrels a year.
That's awesome, fantastic. Now I know you've experienced a lot of growth here. As far as what your business plan looked like, are you pretty much on target, or have you increased exponentially above that?
Well, I think if we were able to take away COVID and inflation, we would be spot on target, but no business plan is locked in forever. You have to constantly modify. We were able to adapt pretty well last year and the year prior, late 2019, early 20, for COVID, and now we're dealing with price spikes in supply chain and things like that. But we've been doing very well. We had a very good year last year, and we continue to just keep moving forward. That's all you can do. So.
Now, on your distribution, that's one of the one of the first breweries down here in Cape May area that actually started with the distribution.
Well, the granddaddy of them all, Cape May, was
Sure.
the first one. But yeah, we were the second one to start doing distribution. We're pleased to announce that we just opened Pennsylvania. So 31st and Wharton is our distributor in Pennsylvania, and we now distribute to PA. The 27 easternmost counties in Pennsylvania is what their range is. But we have over 300 accounts in New Jersey. So we go as far north as Monmouth and Mercer County, south for now, and we'll see how that goes. But we've been we're always opening new accounts. We have a really good sales team that's been doing a good job for us, and we continue to keep growing our accounts in the state.
Now, tell us a little bit about the new plans for the new brewery. What do you envision it looking like, and what's going to be the size of that particular brewery?
Well, the new facility will be more production focused, so it's going to have about a 6,000 square foot production area and about a 1,500 square foot tasting room. But it'll have a large outside, pasture or field for people to sit in. It'll have parking, which is something we have a tough time with here. We'll have 50 parking spaces. It'll be a very modern but built to suit location, but we like to keep the same sort of look and feel we have in our tasting room. One of the things a lot of people like about coming here is it feels like you're hanging out in our garage or our basement or whatever, and we'd like to keep that. We don't want it to become this big beer hall where everybody comes and it's loud and you can't hear people talk, but we're pretty excited about what it's going to be, and as soon as we have all that finalized, we can't wait to share with everybody.
I look forward to that location. I was down here. I was down here last month, and I stopped in to see it because I was coming down Route 9. I was coming back up. Actually stopped in another future Cape May brewery. I stopped into Bear Brewing to see how Steve Wilson is doing there, and they're moving along too. And we're going to talk a little bit about Cape May and the growth of the whole brewery scene down here. But I saw the sign says it's coming soon, Slack Tide. So stopped in here to see you. So great to hear that you're expanded, even after you really not too long ago expanded your whole brew system here at this location.
Yeah, we actually expanded our brewing capacity in 2019, and then right before COVID hit, we actually renovated this tasting room and then added some additions to our canning line that took us more from a manual process to an automated process. So we've expanded every year we've been here, and we hopefully anticipate doing that at the new location, but we have to get that new location built first.
And one of the things with COVID, I know that the breweries that have remained successful, they have adapted. And I know one of the things you did, you have like a beer garden in the back now, which now I think even once we're through all of the COVID and quarantine and restrictions, I think people will miss if a brewery doesn't have someplace outside for them to sit and to have a beer, etc.
Yeah, drinking outside is something we've done all the time. I mean, my brother and I are avid fishermen, avid outdoors people. We're outside all the time. But you're right. I think a lot of places benefited from the state relaxing restrictions on extension of premise, outside seating, and individual municipalities actually closing off streets and allowing restaurants and bars to have outside seating was a big thing. I don't know if full-time that's going to be the solution. I would love it to be, but that's something that's beyond our control. But one of the things we were able to do here in our location is off camera over here, you guys probably can't see it, but there's two windows that face the parking lot. We basically turned ourselves into a brewery Dairy Queen. So you would basically come up to the window, you could get takeout beer to go. We did home delivery. We did all the things that the ABC allowed us to do during that time frame, and we're very thankful that they did, because that helped us sort of stem the tide of the whole COVID pandemic.
Now, we talked a little bit, I mentioned, you and Cape May, I know we talked about Cape May. Now, you have something going on in Cape May County. I don't know that any other counties in New Jersey have it, but you have the Cape May County Brewery Passport. So talk a little bit about the genesis of that. I think that's a great idea, and it's a great thing to promote tourism in the county.
Sure. Well, we actually wanted to roll this out over the summer, but with COVID and supply chain issues, we were unable to get these passports back from the supplier. But all of the genesis behind this idea goes to Sherry Sheldon and the team down at Cold Spring. They came together and decided they wanted to do this brewery passport, and they reached out to the 10 breweries that are in Cape May County, which, by the way, a lot of people don't know. Cape May County has 10 breweries. We have the largest number of breweries per county than any other county in the state. And the goal of it is really cool. It was to go to each of the participating breweries, like a passport or a visa. You would get a stamp, and at the end of that tour, you would get a pin that says you hopped the Cape, so you hopped around Cape May. And all of us jumped at the chance right away, going, this is a great idea to promote it. It's a great idea to promote Cape May County breweries. When COVID first hit, we actually did a virtual beer fest with all of those same breweries involved. And the really good thing is down here, all of us get along. We all, everybody's in, we all understand the market that we're pitching to, all the other thing, which is great. And then we were really pleased to find out after this launched that the governor now passed that bill that now requires the state tourism department to now identify 3 beer trails throughout, a minimum of 3 beer trails throughout the state. And we're excited to see where that takes us to.
That's great because that's something that the wineries had in place. Have had in place
Sure.
with the wine trails, et cetera. So that's something fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Now you talked about the breweries in Cape May working together. That I know you're all friends and mostly know each other, et cetera. Now you also put that towards more charitable endeavors also. So tell me about Rising Hope.
Sure. So we actually have 2 charity beers out now. One is Rising Hope, which you mentioned. We're the only that's this set of cans out here. That's a national fundraiser for the National Pediatric Cancer Foundation, and it's part of an initiative called Brewing Funds the Cure. And the original recipe came from Cigar City and Florida Brewing Company collaborated on the recipe. They select 1 brewery from each state to produce this beer every year and sell it, and 100% of the proceeds go to pediatric cancer research to find less toxic, less harmful cancer solutions for kids battling cancer. And then the other beer we did, which is called The Beer That Built the House, which is this one over here, is the second iteration in a fundraiser that we've done for the Cape May County, or I think it's Cape May Cumberland County Habitat for Humanity. They built a house for a young family up in Upper Township, and now they're building a second house in Upper Township for a young family, and this beer funds a large portion of that. So this year's twist was a little different in that in the past year, everybody made the same beer. This year, everybody got to make their own twist on whatever they wanted to do. So now you basically have to go collect 9 different Habitat for Humanity beers. But the cost of the great thing about that is a large portion of those proceeds get donated to the charity as well.
That's fantastic. That's great, Jason. Now, I think we're going to take a little bit of a break now. My producer, my director are giving me the signal here. So when we come back, we'll talk about some of Cape May's beers. We'll talk about the medals that you
Sounds
have
good.
and GABF, and we will be right back.
BruYou is the app to send and receive drinks. Buying a drink with BruYou is easy. First, select a recipient, choose the location, and then pick a drink from their menu and send it out. It's easy to stay connected with the people you care about with BruYou. Whether it's a birthday or promotion, or just because, sending a drink with BruYou is great for any occasion. When someone buys you a drink, you'll receive a notification with the details, and the drink will be stored in the app until you redeem it. When you're ready to redeem a drink, follow the prompts and show the bartender the confirmation screen. Once your drink is received, close it out on the app and say thanks. Then, cheers! You just received your first drink on BruYou. Available for download on the App Store and Google Play Store.
Hey everyone, we are back here at Slack Tide, the birthplace of South Jersey beer scene, with Jason Campbell, and look who's here, my buddy Richard joined us.
Hi.
He looks like a lumberjack today,
I feel like a lumberjack.
so he's Lumberjack Richard, is
good.
what I'll
It's good
call
weather
him
for
today.
that.
It is.
He's a lumberjack, but he's okay.
Ish.
That's old Monty Python thing, so forget about that. All right, we talked about some of the beers here at Slack Tide, so we're going to get and talk about some more interesting, strange stuff. But let's talk about the beers here. Jason, this is
That's the beer that built the house.
and this
That
is
is a hoppy lager.
a hoppy lager.
Yes, so it's got all the finer points of a lager, but it's dry hopped like an IPA. So it's a really good, pretty crushable beer, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Very nice. What's the ABV on this one, Jason?
5%.
5%.
Yep, and it's got Mosaic. I forget the other ones, but there's some good fruity dry hop in there too. It's really nice.
And as we said before, this benefits Habitat for Humanity.
Habitat for Humanity. So basically, we do this fundraiser well, we've done it last year, and this is the second iteration, where they actually built a house last year, or finished a house, with the money they raised from our fundraiser. This is the next version, so they're starting a second house for another family that will be able to have a home, and they still have to pay a mortgage, but have a home and do all the things they need to do, which is, it's a really cool charity to be involved with.
Fantastic. Yeah, I've done a lot of work with Habitat for Humanity. What an amazing organization that we have. I love the label on the cans too.
Yeah, that was actually a collaborative effort between all of us, but Zach Pashley from Gusto,
Okay.
and the little guy on the side of the can over here was done by our designer last year. We kind of incorporated into this sort of Pink Floyd,
Okay.
the house,
Yeah.
the wall kind of motif.
Right. Yeah.
But it works out. It worked out really good. Everybody's been on board with it. It's cool. T-shirts are cool that go with it, so it's good. We're
Excellent.
hoping to we raised $25,000 last year. We're hoping to raise the same this year to help them out. So
No,
we'll
really
see.
nice. Really nice beer. And like I said, different type of beer
Yeah,
that you don't normally get a hoppy lager.
absolutely.
You know, normally a lager is easy drink because it really, even looking at it, you know, it's different than a lager might.
And we actually use the
look.
Kivik yeast in that too, by the way, which is
Oh,
a complete departure.
really?
So it's technically a hybrid lager. It's not actually a real lager, but
Right.
but it has the light notes and the light body of a lager, but the hop character of an IPA. So we were pretty happy with it.
And the Kavik yeast, that's the one that actually ferments much quicker.
Yeah, like
than other
100
yeast.
degrees. Doesn't
And at
matter.
100 degrees,
can do
yes.
whatever. And we did that for two reasons. One, to be a little bit different, but two, to cut the time down. Because if you're going to lager something, it normally takes longer production time. So, but it's a pretty cool beer.
Yeah, and that's actually a Norwegian, isn't it? From
Yes.
Norway, the yeast? Yeah.
Yep,
It's actually been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, but
Yeah.
it really just became popular.
They probably
States.
harvested off of like whale bones from like
Yeah,
the 15th
might have done
century,
that.
but it is what it is.
The Vikings had it. Eric the Red actually was the first one to harvest.
And it's maybe true. I don't know, but
It actually came from Eric the Red's beard.
You're such an
They got the
IPA
yeast.
person,
Yeah.
right? This is your beer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's very nice, very nice.
And then
Now, this is Rising Hope.
yes, so Rising Hope, as we discussed previously, is we're the one brewery in New Jersey that was identified for the national fundraiser for the National Pediatric Cancer Foundation. It's a hazy IPA made with passion fruit, orange, and guava. So it's super fruity, but I'm telling you, it is delicious. And 100% of the proceeds from the sale of this beer go to the Brewing Funds the Cure, which is a charitable program put together by the National Pediatric Cancer Foundation that helps find less toxic, less invasive cancer treatment for kids.
Wow.
That's great. I love it when the breweries can be creative and collaborate with each other, plus also do something for a great cause, like helping the kids with pediatric cancer.
Yeah, it's a really good beer. I mean, the guys down at Cigar City and Florida Brewing Company did an amazing job on this recipe, and all the sponsors involved, Amaretti, Country Malt Group, Blue Labels, everybody did a great job. We're really honored to be involved in it.
Richard, your thoughts on it?
I think the beer's outstanding. You're right about the recipe. It's really outstanding. It's I'm not the biggest hazy IPA guy either. It's normally not my go-to, but
It tastes like orange juice. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, it is juicy, but there's a nice there's almost a little like a little tang to it too at the end. You know, it kind of balances it out, so it's not sickeningly sweet in any way. It's still really balanced.
It's very good. It's
Yeah.
a really good beer. My brother was the one that said, "Hey, listen, we should do this," and I'm like, "Bro, we absolutely should do it." I mean, it was a great beer. We hope that we're able to raise the money that we need to raise for it, and but like 100% of the proceeds from that beer go right to the charity. So.
I really appreciate too the fact there's so many breweries that just can get involved in all these charitable things in the times we're in. I mean, just, you know, it doesn't have to be any kind of big political discussion, but just read the headlines and you see it's just, everybody's talking about shortages and inflation. You know, it's nice to see that there's so many companies coming together to just try and help people out
Yeah, well,
in every different kind of way.
we've always lived by the motto, like, you got to pay it forward. You got to give back to your community. That's the most important thing. And
Yeah.
you know, we had even with COVID, you know, COVID was a challenge, but listen, we can find a little bit of room to give back, and that's basically what you have to do. I mean, if you don't give back, what's your end game? Like, everybody wants to be a bazillionaire, but we got people who are starving in the street. You got to give back. So.
Right.
Excellent.
Yeah, really does take a village.
Both of those excellent beers.
Yep.
Now this is the Riddler of beers because it's not what it looks like.
This is true.
So tell me about it.
So this is Knockdown. This is our black IPA. This takes the best parts of a stout or a porter and combines it with the hop notes of an IPA. So it actually won a bronze medal at the Best of Craft Beer Awards in 2018. We're entering it again in that same competition. It's probably one of of all the beers we make, one of my two favorites. One is Angry Osprey. This is number 2, and it's kind of a conundrum, but it's an amazing beer.
Now we can see on the wall you got several medals there from Slack Tide. You also had a GABF medal.
GABF medal for Avalon Amber. That's correct. Yep. Yep. We got a GABF medal. We've got 2 Best of Craft Beer Award medals. One for this one and one for our Reef 11 IPA. And then we have several regional medals. We got a silver medal at Atlantic City Beer Fest for Angry Osprey. I think it was 2 years ago. And we've entered a couple of competitions in New York, which we've medaled in each one. One for Belle Buoy, one for Manatee Milk. So my brother and I always use those beer competitions as kind of a yardstick, like a measuring stick, as to how you compare to other breweries nationally. And the cool thing about those competitions is that they send you the judges' comments. So the judge is going to tell you, this is off, you have too much diacetyl, you have this, you have that. And you can make adjustments. And just the fact that we get judged on a regular basis kind of makes it easier for us to sort of develop recipes, change recipes. Oh, we're going to scrap this. You know, it's a very cool thing.
Excellent.
And we will continue to do it. So.
You know, and we've been really very lucky here in South Jersey. We've got a lot of great brewers. You know, we talked about the partnership and the collaboration here in KMA, but, you know, we were just, the last show, we were at Mechanical, who also had won a GABF gold medal. You know, Spellbound has won multiple medals from there. So a lot of great brewers here in South Jersey. We are very lucky in that. And really, there's none that I say produce bad beers. Every brewery is really spot on and fantastic with the beers. So.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, we, you know, they say a rising tide lifts all ships, or a rising tide lifts all boats. I think New Jersey is incredibly underrated for the beers that it puts out. And there are a lot of beers in this state that are phenomenal, that are on par with some of the best New Englands, on par with some of the best dark beers, on par with some of the best lagers. I had an ESB the other day from Third State I was blown away by. You know, so I mean, it's one of those things that the thing that's great for us is people are trying to drink local. And the more you drink local, the better it's going to be. So,
you know, we should talk about this beer. This beer is outstanding.
The black IPA?
Yeah, I've had a bunch of black IPAs, so I kind of get the concept what people were going for, but I sort of felt all of them were really sort of, maybe some of them got maybe a little of the stout right or some of the IPA right, but I don't think any of them ever nailed the body right like this beer.
Thank you.
This beer feels like a stout.
Thank you.
But you get all that IPA presence you want in what you think a black IPA should be.
Thank you. Well, I think a lot of times, too, when people make that beer, you're correct, that they could err on the side of having too much malt and not enough hops. Or some of the malt they use gets too bitter, and then you get bitter on bitter, and then it's not so good. My brother has done an amazing job at finding that balance between the dark beer and not overly dry hopping it to the point where it's like a mouth burner.
Right.
So, or a palate burner. But there's one of the guys that works for us, he swears by it, this is the best beer he's ever had. I'm like, okay, thank you. But we're really proud of it. It's one of the beers that it comes out every winter about this time, well, every fall about this time, and we carry it through until early March. Not early March, end of March is usually when it runs its course, and then we bring it back. But it's a great beer. And every year we enter it in the Best of Craft Beer Awards. We've actually never entered it in GABF, only because GABF needs the beers before it comes out.
Right.
Yeah.
But I would love to enter it in GABF and see what happens. So maybe next year we'll make a little change and have it out in time.
Next year, it's all in person too. So.
Yeah, so it'll be really cool. But
Okay, we're gonna start wrapping up, so I don't think we're gonna have time to talk about UFOs, Richard.
Oh.
I know we found out that's one of Jason's passions.
Yeah, I like UFOs, I like Bigfoot, like ghosts. I'm down with all that stuff.
Actually, one of the clients that was here before, one of Jason's customers says, "Jason, I always thought you were Bigfoot." So
It's true. I guess I can see that.
Let's just remember, they told the world they're here and nobody cared.
That's true.
with that, we're going to wrap this up. Jason, Slack Tide, tell everyone where they can find you and how they can reach you.
You can find us on our website, which is slacktidebrewingco.com, or at our Facebook and Instagram handle at Slack Tide Beer. We're located at 1072 Route 83 in Clermont, New Jersey, between exit 13 and 17, off the Garden State Parkway. So hope to see you guys. Come by. We've got plenty of stuff over the winter. Looking forward to having people in.
And Jason, thanks for having us here tonight.
Thank you guys so much for having
appreciate
us. We'd love to be involved with you guys in anything you want to do. So.
Excellent. So on behalf of South Jersey Beer Scene, southjerseybeerscene.com, check out our YouTube channel, subscribe. This is Vic. Cheers. Have a good night, everyone.
Take care, people. See you.